Good evening. It is 7:10 on November 16th, and we will call the meeting to order. Let's stand and do the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Great.
I don't think we're being recorded.
Yes, we are. They started the recording and they'll edit it because they had to do some other things.
So the on-air lights.
This was what I was told, that we are being recorded, so I'm going to go with the information I was given. So, okay, so I will try to speak clearly while wearing my mask. For old business, October's action items. So I looked at the action items in the minutes just to make sure I had everything noted. The first action item is actually two separate ones. It said that I was going to contact Ann Warner, but actually I was going to contact Janet and Yvette to set up dates to do the initial step of our strategic planning. And I did get some dates from Janet, so I just need to run those by Yvette. And then I am talking with Jason of SMP on Thursday at 4 p.m. for our next steps regarding our site selection process. Something else I was going to do was to explain to the Friends and the Development Fund that we had voted to further investigate the MYA site. I was able to share that with the Friends at their October meeting. I did reach out to Bill Cummings, the chair of the Merrimack Public Library Development Fund. They do not have a meeting currently scheduled, and I believe he sent an email to you, Yvette, to find a date. So, okay, great. So those were my items. The other thing was that Yvette was going to speak to the air conditioning company about the chiller. I believe that Janet was also looking into this, so I think that's sort of an ongoing issue with the chiller. And there were some action items from our initial budget meeting regarding, Yvette, I believe you were going to plug some numbers in for us to the budget as far as salaries go. And so that was accomplished, and we'll deal with that later on in the day. Okay. I think those were our action items. So, is there anything I missed? Okay, then we'll move on to under old business, the SMP. So like I mentioned, I will be talking with Jason Thursday at 4 o'clock, and I'll let you all know what he says as far as our next steps in the process. Under old business, we also have copier. That is just a placeholder. We have strategic planning. As I mentioned, I have some dates from Janet that will work for her in the next few weeks, and I'll run those by Yvette. And the only other thing on our old business is chiller. And as I mentioned, Yvette and Janet, I think, are both sort of investigating what we're going to do. We talked about this a little bit at the budget meeting as far as funding for that. So that's sort of up in the air still. We know it needs to be done, and we just want to find the best way to pay for it. That was all I have for old business. Is there anything I missed? Okay. Moving on to new business. So policy review. Yvette, do you have any policies for us? No
Not this month,
policies.
no.
Okay, thank you. The October general ledger. Is there anything you'd like to call to our attention or anything people have questions about regarding our general ledger? Usually Janet's the one who asks us the detailed questions about that, so nothing was brought to my attention. Yvette, is there anything you need to?
Just to mention that with staff openings that we've had,
Mm-hmm.
both ones that people have left and ones that people are away for a spell,
Mm-hmm.
that money is not being paid out right now. So when we get to the end of the year and we're encumbering funds, it comes from the personnel line.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the things you might want to keep in mind is in terms of funding the HVAC project,
Mm-hmm.
we'll have money
Okay.
because
Yeah.
of the openings that we've experienced for the first several months of the year.
And I think that was one of the things we also wanted to consider was, are we just getting the chiller? Or are we doing this as part of a bigger project to replace the whole HVAC while we might have some funds available? So I think that will definitely be something we'll look into.
Mhm.
All right, great. Thank you.
Sure.
October invoice manifest. And then we also have the open PO list. Did anyone have any questions for Yvette regarding the open POs or the invoices? Mm-hmm. It's really nice to see, Yvette, that the open POs are really current. You guys did a great job of closing some of the old ones out and moving that around so that we are up to date on that. So thank you.
Okay.
Anything else?
Oh, I have a question.
Sure.
This SMP bill for architecture and design proposals. Now, we're at a standstill.
Karen, please use your microphone. Could you turn your microphone on?
Oh, sorry.
Uh-huh.
We're at a standstill as far as discussing things with SMP. So is this money paid out on a regular schedule? It's
No, when they send us an invoice for work.
Okay, all right.
And this was from encumbered funds from last year, so it's money that is set aside for that specific thing. So we just, when they send us a bill, Yvette sends it to town hall and takes care of it.
Okay, that's helpful, thank you.
Sure. Any other questions? Okay, moving right along. We have the fiscal year 2022-23 budget. We do have a non-public session scheduled to discuss anything regarding personnel, but at the end of this meeting. But are there things in the budget that we should address now in our public meeting? I know there was some discussion about the databases, and I see that you gave us database costs. Was that just for our reference for where that money came from?
You asked me for a detailed list of the databases.
Okay, that was probably Janet, so.
I was asked for a detailed list of the databases.
And I appreciate that Janet did, so this is great. I do have a question about Ebsco. So, paid by state?
Okay, so Ebsco is something that the state library provides. They are the broker for that database
I
or
didn't
set
think-
of databases.
I didn't think they were doing it this year.
I'm going to keep talking.
Okay.
So they are not doing it this year, and GMILKs chose to pay for the consortium portion of Ebsco. And so Merrimack is covered, and the other GMILKs libraries are covered. And we also asked for the ARPA 2 funds to reimburse our outlay of that.
Mhm.
On the board level in GMILKs, we're discussing what to do in the future because we're understanding that the state library will not pick it up again.
Mhm.
But this is a service that our patrons really use and want us to keep. So I'm sure GMILKs will like to find somehow to pay for it
Mhm.
so that we can continue to provide that service, but we haven't had that discussion on the board level. As the GMILKs president, I will need to appoint a task force to explore options.
So it could be more than this going forward if would Merrimack be paying their portion of it, or will it be coming out of the GMILKs funds? Is that what you anticipate?
We don't know.
Okay, fair enough. I just was surprised to see it and see PBS on it, purchased by state, because I didn't think that was something they were doing. So that makes sense.
Well, it still, needs to be
Mm-hmm.
put somewhere. you know.
Yep. Okay,
Okay.
great.
Mhm.
On the budget that we looked at the other day, I'm going to go to the materials, which I think were was the only area other than personnel. Yes.
So I see a note that you want to cut out the auto repair source for next year. And what
Is your
the
microphone
value?
on also?
Yep.
Thank you.
So here I see that on the notes,
Mhm.
you put something like cut auto repair source next year.
Mhm.
And And what is the value line? That's 6475?
That's different.
That's different?
These are two different databases.
Yeah, yeah. So you want to, we are not going to have that auto repair source. That's what you're proposing? As per the notes?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, nobody uses that?
Nope.
Like,
No, the usage has gone down. So
okay. Okay. And what is the value line? What is that database? I haven't.
I can't hear you, I'm sorry.
What is the value line?
What is it?
Yeah.
It's stocks.
Okay.
It used to be these like thin little
It used to
papery
be-
pamphlets, and they'd
yeah.
have to be
Oh.
updated weekly
okay.
and whatnot. So it's a valuable resource
okay.
for
Mhm.
sure.
Yeah. So I'm like,
Great, thank you, Sohini. I just wanted to say that just to keep us on track for what we need to accomplish for the budget, that our budget is due on November 24th, and we are going to try to schedule a meeting with Tom Boland, the finance director for the town, on the 23rd in the evening. I don't know if you saw that email,
yes.
Sohini.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that would be, I think that by that point, our budget should be at least, a pretty rough draft, and we can meet with him and then make any changes we need to do to approve it. Things that were on the budget from our discussion last week, let's see, we had some discussion about cutting, I believe, professional nonfiction. There was, let's see, I'm just looking at the notes I made. We as trustees will need to determine for sure if we're going to contribute the $6,000 for museum passes and the $2,000 for Library of Things. I think that they're in the current budget. We just want to approve that and make
Yeah.
sure that that's the same. And then also that we would want to continue the $1,300 for adult materials and the $900 for children's materials. I think leaving them in there right now is fine, and we'll just verify that going forward unless people have any concerns about our contributions to that. We had talked about with the phasing out of fines that we certainly have enough to continue to support these materials in the near future, but we'll just keep an eye on that because as we phase out fines, our money in our fines account
Yeah.
will go down,
Yeah.
but there's certainly enough to keep that going for now. Okay. Anything else for the general budget? This is the quickest meeting ever. Okay, we're moving on to our holiday schedule for 2022.
So, I wrote here on the top that I would propose a change for this year. When I was putting together the schedule for next year, I was emailing with Sharon and asked her about their holidays and what they were looking at. And she said that for holidays that fall on a weekend, it's observed on the Friday before if it's a Saturday holiday, and it's observed on the Monday if it's a Sunday holiday. We're closed on Sundays, so that's not an issue anymore. But for this coming year, New Year's Day is on a Saturday, and we're not doing anything, we're not changing any of the hours for Saturday the 31st. So I would propose that we close on the 31st in observation of January 1st.
Okay.
And then obviously be closed on Saturday.
Mhm.
And then we can be in line with the town.
Okay. I think the more that we are in line with the town, the more it makes sense. I mean, obviously we have weekend hours, but I think there's a
It's
benefit to
easier.
consistency. Yes, yeah.
It's a lot easier for a lot of things.
Okay.
The other thing that I wanted to draw your attention to, when you approved the holiday schedule that we're currently in, we were anticipating being open until 9 p.m.
Mhm.
And so for the day before Thanksgiving, it says we were closing at 5,
Mhm.
and then instead of 9, and that would be the 4 hours. But because we're now closing at 8:30, it's shifted really to be closing at 4:30.
Okay.
So
So on this schedule.
it's not on this schedule.
Oh.
It's for the
in the-
current year.
It's in the
It's
calendar
for
right
this year.
now.
Yeah.
Gotcha,
Um,
not next year.
If that's okay, then we'll just continue to do it as the 4 hours instead of,
Can you explain why it has to be 4 hours, just for our edification?
I don't know. That's how it's been. We've
Okay.
closed early, and I was talking to the staff about it today, where they were asking why on some days are we closing at 2, and I'm like, I'd have to really
Mm.
go back into the history or talk to people who've been at the
Mhm.
library longer than myself and find out what was the rationale for that.
Mhm.
But I don't know. I don't have an answer for you. I do know when I talked to the staff today about it, they all agreed that, well, it's a lot easier in terms of scheduling for a 4-hour block than for, a 3.5-hour block.
Okay.
And that's looking at a whole week of
Mhm.
someone. Usually we do think in
Are the
quarters, I
days aligned on this? Is this for next, oh, it's for next year, I'm like looking at it, okay, it's fine. I'm like,
I guess my
22nd and 23rd, I'm like, okay.
my only concern, I know it's only half an hour, but we are closed the Friday after Thanksgiving, so
Mhm.
I just hope that it's publicized enough so that people know we're closing at 4:30. And I know our hours have changed, so people are aware that they should check
Mhm.
that things have been different throughout COVID. So I think there's no problem as long as people are aware. Because even just in my mind, I think, the library closes at 5 when they're closing early. I think that just to let people know, which I'm sure you will. But
I
just
think all of the publicity, I noticed the publicity was different than the sheet.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
that's a gap in communication from my staff up to me, and
Mhm.
I will find out why. But when I was putting it together, I'm following
Yeah.
a list that usually close at 5, and then I was like, that's weird. I'm here at 5. I'll be here at 5 on Wednesday by myself.
So the
So-
staff felt it would be easier to just close at 4:30 as far
I'm-
as scheduling.
I'm
is.
sure this was a conversation that happened at some point and
Mhm.
just didn't get up to me,
Okay.
but.
And again, I think just, hours have been different in the past year, right? Because
Yeah.
we've been
Oh,
closed
yeah.
different times. So as long as there's some publicity and people are aware of it, I don't think that's going to be a big deal for most people.
Yeah.
Do you guys have any concerns about them closing at
If you can
4:30?
put it on the board behind, when it
Yeah.
shows everything, Comic-Con and everything, so I think it's
Yeah.
quite visible
Okay.
in there.
Yeah, even maybe a desk thing or
Yeah.
something.
Well, it's on the front doors. Well, we
Oh,
start
it's on the
putting
front.
things on the
Yeah.
front door
Mhm.
Yeah.
a week ahead,
Okay.
so.
Okay. And don't worry, because your things can auto-renew if that's what you thought you were going to do, or
That's
do them
true. It's true.
online. So
Yeah.
it's all
Yeah.
good. Yeah. Okay, great. Okay. And so then looking forward to the holiday schedule for 2022. We have Juneteenth on there, which was something that we discussed last year and decided not to go forward with. So we need to decide if we want to do that this year. And then there's staff professional development. Because it looks like the New Hampshire Library Association and the New England Library Association will be having a meeting in Manchester in October.
Yes, and that's
Mm.
something that, I was at, the NHLA conference, in the beginning of the month, and some of the other directors were talking about it
Mhm.
and saying, well, we're already planning to close for staff development sometime in October so that their staff can go
Mhm.
to this regional conference that we're hosting in Manchester. And I thought, well, that's a really good idea. The slate of programs isn't published yet,
Yeah.
but
And I agree, I think it's a great idea, and I will just say I've gone to both NHLA and NELA conferences, and NELA just being a regional group, they can bring in some really amazing opportunities for our staff. So it would make sense while they're here and local to give
Mhm.
people who might not normally have an opportunity to attend something like that a chance to do it and to go with their colleagues, not
Mhm.
like you're here, I'm here. They could get the same information. They could use that, and it's going to be beneficial to the library. So.
yeah, the dates are 24, 25, 26, which is a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Okay.
But I don't know anything else yet.
Okay.
So it's kind of a, put it out there, try and remember,
Mhm.
let's look at this again.
Sure.
Maybe?
Yeah,
then
and
I-
not necessarily all 3 days either. Yeah.
No, I don't think we can handle that,
Uh-huh.
but, I thought it was a good idea that other libraries were doing where they were planning so far ahead for being closed on a professional
Mhm.
development day, and,
Great.
figured I'd throw it out there and see if we could try it.
Yeah, I think that's a really great idea.
Okay.
Okay, so any concerns for Yvette regarding the Professional Development Day? Mike, please go ahead.
Go
Oh,
for it.
not for that, but for the holidays.
Uh-huh.
Why is Easter on there?
Because it always was, and I was looking over my packet today and said, wow, I can just cross that off, so I've crossed it off my copy.
Well, because we're closed on
we-
Sundays anyway.
We used to be open on Sundays for like September through Father's Day. And we closed on Easter, we closed on Mother's Day. But otherwise, through the school year, we were open on Sundays. So that's why this is if you look at the calendar, like every 7 or 8 years, the dates repeat. So I was working off of an earlier, maybe 2017 or 16 or 14 or something like that, and just filling in, and then it was like, oh yeah, I didn't notice until today that
Okay.
it didn't have to be there, so.
All right, thank you. Okay, so then the only question is, how do we want to handle Juneteenth? Do we want to be closed? What are you seeing in the trends in library land and what you're hearing from town hall?
I don't know anything from town hall yet because the town manager hasn't decided.
Okay.
So that might be a while. More libraries are closing.
Mm-hmm.
Not a lot, but it's starting
Mm-hmm.
to happen. People are just closing.
Okay.
So I don't know.
What are people's thoughts on this?
Well, it's a national holiday, I think. It was made that last year, right? I think it would be better to have some sort of presentation or something for the day, more educational than to close.
Yeah, that was what we had talked about last year, was that was our
Mhm.
concern. I could go either way, I'll be honest. I have no strong feelings either way. I don't know. Is it worth waiting to see what the town does?
I think we can wait. This past year, I attended an event that a group had put together and had it at the Nashua Public Library,
Mhm.
and it was a public reading, like a shared reading
Mhm.
of a speech by Frederick Douglass about July 4th.
Mhm.
What is July 4th to the black man? And it's a fantastic piece of work, and it's very powerful, and it's talking about, these two
Why?
ideas
Mhm.
in terms of, July 4th and Juneteenth and, all of the other things. So I don't, I think I would wait to see what the town of Merrimack is going to
Mhm.
decide. I would wait.
Okay. Do you want us to, this was approved last year. Did we do it in December of last year? I'm trying to think. I don't think that we did, because I think we talked about it, and we were like, let's sit with this and do
Yeah.
some
Okay.
investigation, and then we did that. So maybe we'll hear some news from the town before our December meeting, and
I don't know. I mean, if it would be helpful to have it voted on by the 1st of January, because I need to send our holiday closing dates to the GMILK staff so they
Mhm.
can pre-populate in Polaris
okay.
for us.
Okay.
So,
So why don't we put this on our agenda for the December meeting, and perhaps I did look on some library websites just to see, like, oh, is anybody closing, like, around us, just
Yeah.
trying to get an idea of what was going on, and it looked like everybody's calendars were ending at like May, and I'm like, oh, that's not helpful.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll just get an idea, because I think that it's definitely, I think it's coming. I think that's going to be the direction that a lot of places are heading. Last year, a lot of businesses closed, a lot of places that I was really surprised. I wasn't expecting to see that. So I think it's something we need to keep in the forefront of our mind as we're looking forward each year. And whether it's that we have a program, such as you mentioned, or that we do end up closing in concert with the town, I think it's good to have it on our, brought to our attention. So thank you. So let's put it on our calendar, or on our agenda for December, to vote to approve it one way or the other.
okay.
Okay?
Great.
Is that okay with everybody, if we kind
Yeah.
of sit with it and see what people are doing? Okay. All right, holiday staff gifts. So in years past, we've given, I believe it's a $25 gift card per staff member, is that correct? I think that's right.
Oh, yeah.
I think it was $25. The staff tells us what they want to get. And then we had a holiday breakfast. We did not have the holiday breakfast last year
Yeah.
because of concerns, but we did do gift cards to Buckley's, I think, so that they could go
Yeah.
and buy something for themselves.
Where?
Buckley's, we got them
Buckley's,
each a gift
right.
card to
Yep.
that. So do people want to do that again? Is there?
Should be
What-
more.
Well, they
I'm just saying everything's more expensive, so $25 years ago is, you know.
Well, there's policies in like about this is what's the trustees have set aside
Mm.
for gifts for this, that, and the other thing, you know. So, yeah.
There's a
Oh,
financial policy.
yeah.
For
Yeah.
gifts.
So yeah. So for this much
It is on the
given.
website, I think.
Yes, for this that much is given. So, yeah. So if you would like to, you are welcome to look at the policy and we can make changes to it. But we do need to make a decision about this year before then, I think. So, or we can talk about it on the 23rd if you want to look at the policy and see if you want to propose a change to it.
Up to you.
Don't know. You brought it up. It could be
No,
up
I'm
to you.
just-
I'm not.
I
I'm
was
just
just,
running the
you
meeting.
know,
I'm open to all ideas.
I was
So.
just talking about $5 more. That's
Yeah. So I'm not opposed to that idea either, but we would need to have a vote on it. We would need to change the policy, and then we would have to vote as a board to move forward with that, which I don't think is a bad idea, and we can certainly look at that. So, no, I would be happy to pull up the policy. I can send you a copy of it if you want. We can look at it, and then we can discuss it on the 23rd along with our budget when we're meeting, because it's next week, so it's not going to make that much of a difference whether we vote on how much we're going to spend now or put it off a week.
Is
So
it next week?
Yeah.
the 23rd is next week. Yeah, it's next Tuesday.
It's Tuesday.
Didn't we have a meeting last week too?
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Welcome to the Library Board of Trustees in budget season. So then you won't see us for a while after we get through this. But okay, let's do that. Let's take a look at the policy. We'll see, what we think would be appropriate if it needs changing. And it's probably not a bad idea to revisit it in totality to see like what over the past year we wish had been done differently, perhaps, and that sort of thing. So, yeah, I'll put that in an action item for me. So thank you for bringing that to our attention. Okay.
We're not going to do anything, I don't think, like, to serve a breakfast or anything like that. I don't know. I think it's a little early for,
Yeah.
Yeah, I think people's comfort levels are really different.
yeah.
And so last
It's
year
too
we gave
bad.
them like a
Sure.
gift card to Buckley's so that they could go and get a coffee and a pastry on their own. And I just wrote like a little note for each one and then we put them all together.
Yep.
So,
Yeah.
but let's look at the policy, decide, if we think the policy is not reflective of what the current financial situation is in our country. And then or if it's just needs to be updated, and we can change the policy and then vote on how we want to move forward for the holiday gifts. So it's good. All right. Thanks, Mike. Is that okay with everybody? I should say before.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Before I'm like, okay, let's just do it. Okay, great. Thank you. Okay. Director's report.
Okay. We have extended an employment offer to Stephanie Bennett for the Adult Services Part-Time Library Assistant position. Stephanie currently works in the Circulation Department.
I will make a motion that we accept Stephanie Bennett as our next Adult Services Part-Time Library. I'm sorry, Stephanie Bennett as the Adult Services Part-Time Library Assistant position. That nomination.
I'll second.
Thank you, Karen. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor? 400. Thank you.
I have that PAR for you to sign.
Thank you.
We've extended an employment offer to Dina Metivier for the Youth Services Part-Time Aide. Dina previously worked in the Circulation Department. She left in 2020 because she had some responsibilities at home with all the virtual learning going on.
Okay, would someone like to make a motion? Okay, I will. I'll make a motion that we accept the nomination of Dina Metvier, is that correct? Metvier for the Youth Services part-time aide position.
A second.
Thank you, Sohini. All in favor? Oh, sorry. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor? 400. Thank you, Yvette.
Sure.
And here's this.
Thank you. And then at your meeting last week, you had accepted the job offer for Alyssa Jobin, who's our new
Mhm.
head of circulation. I have her PAR as well. Moving on, I noticed that I had not reported on the New Hampshire Humanities grants that we received this year. These programs happened over Zoom and over the summer. So we received a New Hampshire Humanities grant for the program entitled New England Lighthouses and the People Who Kept Them. Presenter Jeremy DeTremont for $200, and this was in June. We also received a grant for a New Hampshire Humanities program entitled Harnessing History on the Trail of the New Hampshire State Dog, the Chinook, with presenter Bob Cottrell for $200. This program took place over Zoom in August. And also, we received a New Hampshire Humanities grant for $225 for New Hampshire cemeteries and gravestones with a presenter, Glenn Knobloch, and that also took place in August over Zoom.
Sorry, I'll vote to accept the grants from the New Hampshire Humanities Program.
I'll second.
Okay, thank you, Karen. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor? 400. Thank you, Yvette.
Sure. The granite steps are now closed and
Ooh,
covered.
Thank you.
really? Yay.
Yeah.
For now.
For now.
Oh.
For now. I'm not sure if you have any questions about anything in my report. If anything, you know, kind of jumped out at you.
How was the trunk or treat?
It was awesome. It was awesome. We had fewer people than last year. We had 500 people last year, so it was a little bit less than that,
Mhm.
but really well attended. You know, we had, I want to say we had maybe 10 trunks there, all different trunks. I had hired a Merrimack Police detail officer in a cruiser to help families cross the street from parking at Town Hall and coming across Babusick, and that worked very smoothly, and everyone seemed to enjoy themselves.
Great.
So, and the weather was pretty decent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah,
Great.
it was very good. And that was, of course, you know, sponsored by the Friends, and they were present, you know, with a trunk as well. Let's see. Something that is a recent development is there's a potential book challenge happening in the schools, and we may have this challenge come to the Merrimack Public Library collection. I'm mentioning it because we did have a resident complain about a book, and on the phone, talk to our staff. It's a book that's on the Great Stoneface Award list, and that is an award list for 4th, 5th, and 6th graders, and it's sponsored by the New Hampshire Library Association, of which I'm the president, so I'm somehow involved. I received an email from the Assistant Superintendent of Curriculum at Merrimack Schools, asking for me to be on the committee, on the review committee for this book as a resident, but I have a conflict of interest as the president of NHLA.
Someone also asked me if I would be interested in reading it, and I felt like I should I should wait to see, because I didn't know how this was going to affect the public
Yeah.
library, and I wanted to approach it following our policy and not
Right.
having heard anything else. So if
Right.
someone does there is a policy in place for reconsideration of material,
Right.
and we would follow that policy to the letter if that came our way. So,
Yeah, so it's in process, it's
Mhm.
happening at the schools, and just letting you know
mhm.
something is happening.
So who complained?
I don't have a name.
Yeah, and it's also, you know what? People have opinions. There are policies in place for the reconsideration. I just recently looked at a reconsideration policy for another school district, and it's very thorough. And I think that, we just follow it, and we honor what people have to say, and we do what is asked. But, that's it. Yeah, if it happens, and we'll
Right.
address it.
Yep.
So, the schools are a different situation in some ways than the public
Mhm.
library as well. So.
Yeah, if we have our collection development policy, Michael, is on the website, and you can read all of them when you have nothing else to do, or you want to fall asleep. But, yeah, and all of, the.
Fall asleep. It's very interesting. So
I think it's fascinating. But, what we like to think about in the library is that it's a public library and we serve the entire town of Merrimack, and not just people who like to read cookbooks. I probably don't read the same thing, and we may read the same things, but, even as a staff person, or even as a trustee in the library, it's not your personal opinions of your favorite things to have in a collection. It's, we're really overseeing a collection for, 27,000 people. So it's going to have stuff in the library that I probably don't want to read or look at or watch a movie or games, but someone does, so we're here for everyone. That's kind of what the policy says.
yeah. So keep us posted, and if that should happen, and whether now or in the future, we will just follow the policy
Yep.
and go forward. So thank you.
Sure. I can, we can look at the maintenance project list if you want. This is always part of my director's report. Jared's been working really hard through this list, and we had the sprinkler company come in and do a survey of the system, an annual review of the system, and also some of the sprinkler heads that had been pointed out by joint loss were replaced. And while this project was going on, he was able to replace the ceiling tiles that were connected to the sprinkler system project, just in terms of, here's there's a sprinkler head, and the hole cut around it needs to be kind of flush to the head. And some of ours weren't quite like that. So, or they were, stained tiles. So it was just a process of him going through and just working on it, and did a lot of it already while the company was in the building.
Is there anything else from the report, from your director's report, you'd like to point out to us?
No, unless you have a question.
I have a quick question about this. So gaming computers have been installed in the teen area. Where did you get the space to install gaming computers?
They're just computers with large monitors that are
Okay.
on the teen computer table that computers were on, but they were smaller monitors. They're just higher powered computers with better graphics, so that when teens come into the library, they can play online games.
Because you put a nook over there in that corner, and then I'm just trying to visualize
There is a narrow table in the Henderson room against the wall that's kind of like my door's here, and there's a wall, and all the collection,
yes.
the books are here.
Mhm.
It's in that space, but it's against like a
Okay.
kind of half wall. If it's fine, it's the same table we used with different computers.
No, I was just wondering, where did you find the space? Because it has books, it has the nook, it has people walk through, and then it has the printer, I think, in that corner.
It's just, it's like again, it's like that, it's just against a wall.
They're wizards at finding
Come-
space
yeah.
there.
Come visit,
Yeah.
come visit, and I will show you, and you will be
I'm
amazed.
okay, where did she find the space?
No, we just put the table back, put the computers back on it.
Great.
Sure.
Any other questions for Yvette? Okay, great.
Right.
Treasurer's report, no treasurer's report today, as our treasurer is not here. Acceptance of minutes. Let me
Oh.
get- So why don't we start with the October 19th public meeting minutes? Is there anything for Karen
I-
on that?
Somewhere. Just pulled them out.
Well, there was some good patron feedback on the last page of the director's report.
Oh, on the director's report, yep.
Yeah, so that was good.
What's this now?
Oh, so he was mentioning the patron feedback on the director's report?
Oh,
Yes,
yes,
that was good.
yes.
Okay, so the October 19th public meeting minutes.
Yeah.
Is there anything for Karen? Any concerns, questions, things that need to be changed?
Mistakes.
Concerns?
Kathy's first name is spelled with a C. Kathy with a C.
Okay. I could swear I took it off the director's report or something, but maybe not. By that time I was, so let me see, where is that? Oh,
So-
Kathy, yeah, that right there at the beginning. Okay. Thank
So
you.
under SMP, which is, so it says old business, and then D, SMP. I don't know that I moved that Mike and I would pursue further investigation of the MYA. I think it was that the trustees would pursue further investigation, and then Mike seconded the motion.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yep, that the trustees will pursue.
Okay,
further.
so there it is. That's number 2 right there.
Yeah, that the trustees will pursue.
So,
If you just remove, the chair moved that can stay, and then get rid of she and trustee Mike Druin, and just put in the trustees. The chair moved that the trustees
Gotcha.
will pursue.
okay, the trustees will pursue further investigation.
Of the MYA, yep.
Yep.
And then also in number 3, it says that the chair will notify the Friends, and then it should just be, and the Development Fund Committee.
Oh, okay. I must have reached the point where I wasn't reading my writing anymore. The
The Development Fund Committee, yep.
Fund Committee. Thank you.
Sure.
Keep going.
That's all that came right to my mind. Anything else?
Will work to be investigated.
Okay. I will make a motion that we accept the October 19th, 2021 public
corrections.
meeting minutes with corrections. Is there a second? Anyone?
Well,
Second.
there wasn't a great deal of time. If you'd rather wait and do it next week.
No, we can,
Okay.
okay.
I second.
Okay, is there any discussion? Okay, all in favor? Okay, 400. Then we also have non-public minutes from October 19th. Is there anything on the non-public minutes that people want to see corrected?
Don't we have to be in non-public to do that?
Nope.
No.
Nope, your non-public minutes, we have not sealed our minutes, so, yep, you don't have to do that.
No, that's,
Okay.
when we actually have
Yeah.
to seal them, that's a whole different.
That's a whole other process, right? So we went into non-public, we had a discussion, the minutes loosely address what was discussed without a lot of detail, but at least it's out there. So is there any discussion on the minutes? Okay, I will make a motion that we approve the October 19th, 2021 non-public meeting minutes.
I'll second.
Thank you, Karen. All in favor? Okay, 400. Then we have our minutes from the budget meeting. Boy, Karen, we are keeping you busy. So you're
Yes.
the November 8th budget meeting. So I did have a correction which came to my attention today, that the wage survey was done in 2016, not 2013.
really?
I
So,
looked that up too.
okay, so, yep. So-
Okay,
So it was said at the meeting
It's 3 years
2013.
newer.
Yeah, but we
okay.
do want to make sure that if people look back and are trying to determine a date, that it was 2016.
Okay,
That's
where,
still 5 years ago, but it's not 8 years ago, so.
where is that?
It's under discussion of wages, and it said a wage survey was last done.
Wait a minute. Which,
Oh, you know what? I think I'm on the non-public. I apologize. Sorry, Karen.
wait,
Wait, no, that was the regular one. November 8th. It says Board of Trustees, Merrimack Public Library, 2021-2022 budget meeting. And then,
okay.
yep,
Okay, so it's 2016.
yep.
Okay, there, that's right there.
Mhm. Okay.
Other November
Karen?
8th.
Yeah.
Laura's
Yeah, Laura's
listed
not-
in
yeah.
attendance.
Yeah, Laura
Yeah,
wasn't
Laura-
there.
I'm just-
Laura!
Mike was there, not Laura.
Yeah.
She
so-
was on my mind.
I'm just looking there, Mike was there, seconded, and then
Yeah.
Laura Phillips' name shows up.
Oh, that was peculiar.
I'm like,
What it was is I was getting so burned out with the computer that I went back in time.
I'm like,
By the way, I didn't catch that, so thank you.
You just want to make sure people read the minutes. That's,
That was one of those tests.
I know.
yeah.
Some of
It
us
was a
failed,
test
some
for
of us
Where's
me.
the coffee
failed.
bean?
Okay.
It was a test for me and I failed. That's what it was.
So, with those corrections,
And
Yeah.
I think it will be approved 400 because 4 people were there.
Because why?
They,
No,
going to non-public, it says 500.
yeah,
It
no,
was-
5 of us were there. We were all there.
I wasn't there November 8th, I think so.
You
Was
didn't
I-
come to the budget meeting?
Yeah, you were there after,
I was
were
there
there.
Right.
after.
because this was the same day they did
So this
the-
is different. So this
Yeah.
is the, we had a non-public meeting actually before the public meeting on this particular day. So
Mhm.
the minutes that we're looking at right now, you were there for that portion. The non-public part, you were not there for. The non-public was our interview with Alyssa. This is afterwards, our budget meeting. So on this one, it's 500, and on the non-public, it's 400.
So, yeah, so then my name should be here somewhere.
Right,
You're right,
Like, that's why I'm like
right.
confused.
yeah, that's why.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay,
So,
all right, so with the corrections
I was
of,
confused. I
Yes,
thought
with
I
the-
was here and then.
with the
Mm.
correction of adding
Yeah.
Mike and Sohini to who was present and changing that the wage survey was done in 2016, I will make a motion that we approve these minutes.
I second.
Okay, thanks. Any further discussion?
nope,
Okay, all in favor?
fix 'em.
400. And then finally,
Mhm.
the non-public meeting, which
Yeah.
took place before.
Before
the-
I.
Yes,
yeah.
before when you weren't there. And that
Yeah.
one, in fact, it says that you were excused, and we did
Yes.
Yep,
do a roll call vote, 400. You know, I hate to grab my phone, but I did look something up because this came up in our discussion of non-public minutes or non-public meetings. And so I did investigate with the New Hampshire Municipal Association. Their website has wonderful information about non-public
because-
meetings. And
Okay.
it did say that a question was asked, we can't take votes in a non-public session, can we? And it says, yes, you can. A board may do anything in a non-public session it does in a public session, so long as the subject matter is appropriate for a non-public session. This means discussions, motions, and votes are all permitted, and that it's a formal meeting under the law, even if the public may not attend. And then it goes on to say that they can do something during a non-public session, and they can announce it and report it. Do they have to announce it and report it when we come out of non-public? And it says no, although you can. So it's not required. I think we do because, you know, for transparency, and we
Yep.
haven't sealed any minutes. So, but just, there was some question about whether we can vote for something in non-public, and yes, we absolutely
And
can.
who is
The
that
New Hampshire
source?
Municipal Association.
Municipal Association.
Yes,
okay.
which has just an amazing website
Yeah.
full of great information for boards. So they've been wonderful. Okay, so with that being said, we did vote in this meeting to approve Alyssa's nomination to the
Yes.
position of head of circulation, which was what
Yes.
Yvette mentioned in her director's report.
So-
So,
So at the beginning, it says the roll call vote passed 400,
mhm.
and then at the motion passed 4-0, it should be 0 because I was excused.
To be hired, so it's 400. Yep.
Yeah, the motion passed 400.
Yep.
The last two paragraphs.
Where it says that I moved that she be hired, the motion
Yeah.
passed 400 because Sohini did not vote.
I did not vote.
Well, this is recording an abstention, but
She was
So-
not there though to vote. Were you?
I was there, but I did not vote.
I know, what I'm
Because
saying.
I
Right, you
did not-
abstained.
You abstained.
abstained.
Okay,
What
so
I'm,
then that's
what I'm
actually-
saying is, you could put in, if you want, Sohini arrived at,
Okay,
Mhm.
and that will make it better. And she arrived right around 7 o'clock.
Right, because then
Because
you
we
also.
voted at 7:10.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So I
Okay.
abstained
Or
because I was
7-9.
not in the
Mhm.
Okay.
discussion.
So, yeah,
So we'll just do 401. That makes sense because you abstained. And then just.
I'll just tuck in a sentence there.
Okay. And then the only thing I will add is that we do not do a roll call vote to come out in non-public. So we just voted to come out and it was 401 to come out also. So it was just a vote.
Oh, I left it out?
It's not a roll call to come out in non-public. In fact, according to the New Hampshire Municipal Association, we can just say back in public now. So
We don't
Yes.
even have to vote?
no, we will. That most people do because they said it kind of gives a clarity to the ending of the non-public session. So. Okay.
Yes.
All right, so now our instructional session on non-public minutes from the New Hampshire Municipal Association is over, but yes,
So-
Karen,
Are we going to vote to approve with corrections?
that is what I was going to propose, yes, that we vote to approve the non-public meeting minutes with the corrections noted
For November 8th.
for November 8th. Yep,
I second.
okay. All right, any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Thank you. So that passes 400. All kidding aside, really the NHMA website is wonderful. If you have any questions about any of the things for meetings, I really appreciate that they have that available to us. So, okay. Committee updates. The Building Exploratory Committee has not met. Friends of the Merrimack Public Library met in October, and I did talk with them about our decision to pursue further investigation of the MYA site, and they were very excited. There was a lot of interest, and they're just a
Oh.
great group who supports the library. So
Really?
that was, yeah, really.
That's good.
Yep, I think that, there's just a lot of possibilities for that site. So let me see, what else do I have here? Yvette told them about our partnership with Caring Cupboards, which was wonderful.
Oh, yes, that's good.
Let me see what else I have here. The wreath auction is going on. Is there anything else that we should note? There's some discussion about, I think that's something that just keeps coming up is like, how do we do a book sale? That's just a discussion it's there. It's there. They're really giving it thought and trying to be really mindful about what is the best way to do a book sale, and to reach out to the membership. So those are the things I get out of there.
Mhm.
Anything else?
I don't think so. I
Okay.
think you covered everything.
Okay, great, thank you. The Merrimack Public Library Development Fund Committee, as I mentioned, looking to set up when their next meeting would be so that I can talk to them about the MYA site. Town Center Committee, is there anything from that, Karen?
Woodbury Street is all-consuming right now, just trying to pull things together. I just, on the Town Center Committee, you see in dark all these emails, and they're all labeled Woodbury Street sidewalks. So, right now, but there is a meeting scheduled for Friday,
Mm-hmm.
and I will be going to that. And I could see from the agenda that there are things, we're starting to move on to other projects.
Great. Wonderful, thank you for continuing to be a representative to that committee.
Yep.
Interesting.
Interesting.
I bet it is really interesting to
It
hear what
is.
the plans are and
It
what's
is.
going on.
And you
Yeah.
get to meet people that you've only heard about
Uh-huh,
that have lived and affected Merrimack. Very
Interesting.
interesting.
that's
And you
great.
get to work with them.
Mm-hmm.
Very interesting.
Great. The Library Board of Trustee, our internal committees, I don't believe there's been any meetings of personnel, building maintenance, or finance, so they were just there.
Building maintenance was dissolved.
Dissolved, that's correct, right. We decided not to have that anymore, so we'll just cross that off our future
So cross
agendas.
it off, and finance would be B.
Thank you for remembering that. Okay, so a review of November's action items. There aren't a lot. I will be getting the staff, well, actually, it's actually on the website, but I don't mind just pulling the gift policy, and I can send it to everybody for your review before our November 23rd meeting, just to look at if we think it needs to be updated. We are also going to revisit the holiday schedule in December. And we'll vote on the holiday staff gifts and what else we're going to pursue on the 23rd as well, once we look at the policy. Is there anything else on our agenda for as far as action items? I think those were the main ones. Okay. Well, upcoming events. We have the Friends of the Library meeting on November 29th at 7 p.m. And like we mentioned, the Merrimack Public Library Development Fund Committee meeting is to be announced. Now, this would be perhaps a record board meeting that we would be done at 8:05, but we do have a non-public session scheduled. So I'm going to make a motion that we go into a non-public session per RSA 91A32A personnel at 8:05.
I second.
Thank you, Sohini. And to go into non-public, we do need to do a roll call vote. So I will vote yes. Sohini?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
And Karen?
Yes.
Okay, so we are in non-public.